Cascade Hoops Talk, this is Billy D. Well, a Friends overtime win caps off a big Wednesday across the NAI. Buckle up, Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Cascade Hoops Talk, produced in the shadow of the beautiful Cascade Mountains and bringing the world NAI basketball. One podcast at a time. Well, new Top 25 came out Wednesday morning. I know you already saw that. You already know how I feel. The Top 25 is fun, and everybody wants to be in it, and I get it. But it doesn't really count for anything at the end of the day. So just remember that as you enjoy it. And it is a fun conversation piece, let's call it. Freed Hardeman is the new number one. They definitely have earned that. Everybody who does any kind of power ranking, the RPI, the NAI does, which Champion Sports do, everything has them as number one. So well-deserved, a lot of basketball yet to play, but that's where we are for right now. Freed Hardeman was idle tonight. They were idle last night. They'll play tonight. So we'll start off with number 2, Grace College and the Crossroads League. Grace hosted Marion last night, 94-63. They won this game. What looked like a close game. It was an 11-point game at halftime, but Grace just ran away with it toward the end. But these are two freshmen leading scorers. Tyler Rosh, 20 points, 9 rebounds, and Michael Wellman, 15 points. Two freshmen. So if you're wondering, well, is Grace getting old? Are they going to be able to keep doing this? Grace is very young, in case you didn't realize that. So Grace goes to 23-2, and they're going to host Indiana Wesleyan on Saturday. That, my friends, is the game of the day. And there are some good games on Saturday, but that is the game of the day. Speaking of Indiana Wesleyan, they're number 3 in the new poll. They defeat Mount Vernon Nazarene there at Lucky Arena, 103-65. Cademan Bontrager, I can't say enough about him this season. Man, he has had a great season. 18 points, 8 rebounds. Isaac Andrews, who's playing him better and better for the Wildcats every game, 17 points, 2 rebounds. They go to 22-3, and they're, as I say, they're going to face Grace on Saturday. Of course, they have to go to Winona Lake, which really gives Grace an advantage. They have great fans there. Bethel University, they hosted as well. They hosted Spring Arbor. They beat them 86-78. Luke Fill It Up McBride, that's how he gets the nickname. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 4 for 6 from 3. Austin Kripe, 17 points, 2 rebounds, 3 from 4 from 3. Man, you don't want to get in a three-point shooting contest with this team. They go to 21-4, and they're going to be at Mount Vernon Nazarene on Saturday. New to the top 25 this week, Huntington Foresters. They did it the old-fashioned way, the blue-collar way. That's how they do everything at Huntington. It's really a blue-collar program. It's very endearing to a guy like me. They do it the old-fashioned way. They just grind and work. They defeated Goshen tonight, 74-64. Landon Beagle, 14 points, 3 rebounds, and Jackson Paul, 14 points, 4 rebounds. And they're going to be at Taylor on Saturday, and that is a very big game. I'll show you in the standings here in a second. Elsewhere around the league, only one other game to talk about. Taylor defeated St. Francis. St. Francis is really battling for that final playoff spot in the Crossroads League. If they don't get that number 8 spot, their season's probably over. Here's the standings. Again, the top 4 host in the first round. Look at this, Huntington and Taylor here, 4 and 5. I don't know if you can see my screen, but 4 and 5. They're a half game apart right now. But that is the line for home playoff game. That's probably and then look at this. Grace and Indiana Wesleyan, 1 game apart. They play on Saturday. I love it. Then this is what NAIA basketball is all about. We already talked about, these are games coming up. Huntington, Taylor, we already talked about that. Bethel's going to be at Mount Vernon Nazarene. Man, Mount Vernon Nazarene is tough. I mean, you know that. St. Francis battling for that number 8 spot will be hosting Marion. And, of course, Indiana Wesleyan at Grace. Mark it down. Jump down to the Sun. Ave Maria was idle tonight, but Kaiser hosted Weber International. They beat them 105-63. Cameron James, 20 points, 12 rebounds, a double-double for him. Oh, and I messed up. Hang on. Just hold on. Okay, so as I said, Cameron James, he had 20 points, 12 rebounds for a big double-double. Nadir Myers, 25 points, 2 rebounds. Kaiser goes to 21-3, and they're going to be at Ave Maria on Saturday. That is the other big game. The Grace Indiana Wesleyan and this Ave Maria Kaiser game, 2 do not miss games. Do not miss games. Look at the other scores. Southeastern won over New College, and Florida College defeated Coastal Georgia. That was a tight game. But Florida Memorial. I'm sorry, I apologize. They got the win over Coastal Georgia. Check out the standings, very close. That's why that Ave Maria Kaiser game is so tight. Look at that. Southeastern is, I don't know if they can get in that top 2, but they're trying to stave off Florida Memorial. And then you can see Coastal Georgia is hanging on to that last playoff spot down there. So a lot going on in that conference. Here's what's happening on Saturday. Southeastern's going to be at Warner. St. Thomas is going to be at Florida Memorial, who needs a win. And then Kaiser, as I said a billion times now, will be at Ave Maria. In the KCAC, the Oklahoma Wesleyan Eagles pounded Ottawa. Just pounded them, 80-49. Tamaje Iswagbe, he had 8.7 rebounds. And then Nathaniel Law, 10 points, 3 rebounds. I think everybody on Oklahoma Wesleyan's roster scored. Well, you can tell Nathaniel Law was the top scorer, 10 points. They're 22-3 now, and they're going to play at York on Saturday. Friends, oh, what a battle. Friends got out of this in overtime. Oh, this was a great game. They won at 86-82 over Sterling. Randy Wolf Jr., 28 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Colin Macklin, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Big performances by those two. They go to 20-5. This was a huge win for Friends at home. They didn't want to drop this thing at home. And they host McPherson on Saturday. On Saturday. So here's the other games in the conference. Southwestern the Jinx beat Evangel, and McPherson, as we just mentioned, they beat York. We talked about the other games. Bethel won. Let's look at the standings, though. This is a conference, 8 teams, 4 at home, 4 on the road to start. You can see this Friends McPherson game. They're both at 15-4. They're not going to catch Oklahoma Wesleyan, but man, going up from a 3 seed to a 2 seed can make all the difference in the world in that opening round. And you can see Avila and Kansas Wesleyan are battling for that final playoff spot. Bethel is battling Southwestern College to get into that home playoff spot. Just a lot of stories all around the country. Look at that. Look at all those stars. So Evangel, they're battling for a playoff spot, as is Avila, as we just mentioned. Southwestern as well, we mentioned. The Jinx needs a win. McPherson, we mentioned, and Bethel as well. They're trying to get a home playoff game. So many stories, and not just who's going to win the conference, but who's going to have a playoff game at home. Pikeville last night, they were at Bluefield. They beat them 78-67. Bradley Bunch, 20 points, 13 rebounds for the double-double. Riley Salmons, 14 points. They go to 21-3, and they're going to be at Reinhardt on Saturday. Other games in the AAC, CIU beat Reinhardt. Union beat Bryan. And one more. Columbia beat Johnson. That was a little bit of a surprise. Okay, here's the standings. Every 10 teams make it. The bottom four here, the bottom four right here, they do a play-in, and then that rounds up the 8 teams. So you can see that Johnson getting beat by Columbia, that was a surprise tonight. Not a huge surprise, but the Johnson plays Milligan as they battle for a better playoff spot. Bryan's going to be at CIU. Pikeville's going to win the conference. And then Union Commonwealth has to go to Columbia. In the GPAC, Morningside, this is the way it works, isn't it? Morningside just got in the top 25 this morning. They're number 21. And then they, of course, have to go to Orange City. You know, Trent Miller's probably getting on that bus and going, I just got in the top 25. And here I have to get in a bus and go to Orange City. Well, anyway, Northwestern Raiders knocked them off 109-85. The two big scorers there, Jalen Langsley went 36 points, 36, and another 30 spot from Jesse Van Kalsbeek, who also threw in 15 rebounds. That is, you want to talk about a big boy double-double. So I think everybody, when they look at Morningside and try to figure out where they fit in the entire equation, a lot of people are going to overlook a loss in Orange City. But congratulations to Northwestern knocking off that ranked team. So Morningside goes to 9-6, and they're going to host Hastings on Saturday. They're just happy it's not another trip into Orange City. Or hold it, yeah, they were at Orange City. Okay, a couple other games to mention. Dakota Wesleyan, all these teams are battling for playoff spots. They beat Waldorf as expected. Briarcliff got beat at Dort. A tough loss for Briarcliff. And then Mount Marty beat Midland. Okay, the standings in the GPAC. Nobody's going to catch Morningside. I think Northwestern's going to finish second. I've never quite seen the GPAC this decided this early. It usually is, you know how the GPAC normally is. So that's what's going on there. Concordia and Dakota Wesleyan are battling for that last home playoff spot. Hastings is going to be at Morningside, as we mentioned. Dakota Wesleyan will be at Mount Marty. Concordia is going to be at Briarcliff. All these are for position games. Midland's going to be at Dort. In the heart of America, Graceland was at Mount Mercy. They beat them 97-75. Carson Bush, 35 points, another 30 spot, 2 rebounds. Josh Sanderson, he's a sophomore, 16 points, 2 rebounds. They got the win over Mount Mercy. They go to 21-4. And Graceland will be at Missouri Baptist on Saturday. Here's the other games. Missouri Baptist got the home win against Missouri Valley. William Penn got back in the W column a little too late. They're not going to catch. Graceland. Central Methodist got the win, and Grandview won. Those are the key games. Tough loss for Mid-American Nazarene as they're trying to get in. They're trying to get in those playoff spot. Here's the standings. Graceland now has, 2 full games over William Penn. You can see them. They play this all in one spot, so really the top 4 isn't really a big advantage. So coming up on Saturday, Benedictine is going to be at Mount Mercy. Graceland has to go to Missouri Baptist. Missouri Valley will be at Culver Stockton. Mid-American Nazarene has to go to William Penn. William Penn is trying to finish second. I'm sure they're trying to win, but they're going to finish second. They want to hang on to that spot. Mid-American Nazarene is battling to get in the playoffs, and Grandview will play at Central Methodist. In the WAC, just a couple games here to report. Indiana Tech beat Lourdes. Talk about Lourdes. And Madonna beat Defiance pretty handily. I know you've already heard it. It was announced today that Lourdes University there in Toledo, Ohio, is going to close in May. Bad, sad news. They've been a part of that WAC for as long as I can remember. They're battling. We'll show you here in the standings, but it's just bad news. I don't know how many more school closings we're going to see, but man, there's been a lot of them. Apparently, it's a money deal. So Madonna now is, what is that? Two full games up on Indiana Tech. You can see that Northwestern Ohio and Aquinas, they're fighting for that last playoff spot. So Aquinas is going to be playing Lawrence Tech, and Indiana Tech is going to be at Lourdes on Saturday. But Lourdes has dropped down to 12-7 fourth. They were battling for the WAC championship a few games ago, but they've fallen on a little bit of hard time. Oh, that's an understatement. Okay, so in the Chicagoland, Trinity Christian, Trolls win. Bill. Sorry about that. Got carried away with my chant. But as you know, the story with Trinity Trolls, they announced the school's closing. I think it's second game of the row, and they did everything but took the guys' jerseys, and they just keep winning and winning. South Bend beat Holy Cross. St. Francis at home beat Olivet Nazarene, and Governor State beat Calumet. Take a look at the standings. Okay, so the Trolls are battling now for a home playoff spot. They're so close. Conceivably they could keep moving up, but boy, they really need to get into that home playoff spot. They need to be in the playoffs as long as possible. I think that's what we should all be cheering for. Not that we're cheering against anybody else in the Chicagolands, but man, when guys find out that their uniforms are being taken away, or figuratively, and they're closing the school, and then they have the heart to battle like this, and they found out early in the season, and they have battled and battled. Okay, enough about that, but I'm a big Trinity Christian fan because of that. So they'll be at Governor State. South Bend's going to be at Viterbo. Olivet Nazarene will be at St. Ambrose. St. Francis will be at St. X. Those are all for position up there at the top. Okay, that's what I have for you. It was a big Wednesday night. Things are starting to move. Things are starting to settle down. Most conferences now have 3 games left. Some have 4, but very few. It's getting down to just the final few games. Get out and support your team, because every one of these games is huge. You've noticed that the stars on important games, there's a lot more stars. Also, the races are incredible, not only at the top. Some of them have separated now at the top, but the races to make the playoffs or to have a home playoff game are tighter than I've ever seen. So in a lot of conferences, virtually every game is huge. So it makes for great basketball when guys are always playing for something late in the year. This is Billy D. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.